Remember what leaders in both parties warned us about when Putin invaded Ukraine 2 years ago.
He's not going to stop with Ukraine.
And then you see Poland and Romania and all of those countries.
That's where you start to think about World War III.
And Vladimir Putin's deceptive arguments for invading Ukraine also apply to at least 3 of our NATO allies, which we are obligated to defend. And while Putin invaded Ukraine, remember his fellow autocrat in China wants to also take Taiwan. And they've signed a pact declaring a new order with no forbidden areas of cooperation, while other tyrants already aligned with Russia and already aligned with China would be eager to follow their leads and the rise of the tyrants. This is the new order they speak of, and it's now the new challenge of our time. It's a global clash of the autocrats versus free nations, which leaders, again, in both parties have warned us about.
We're now all of a sudden once again living in a world in which countries and leaders can decide that something belongs to them and they go in and take it by force. We know how China claims its claims on Taiwan. It has territorial disputes with India on its borders. So if we now live in a world where you can just go in and take a country because you claim it or parts of it belong to you, and you can do so militarily, well, we've entered a very dangerous period in human history once again.
$60 billion to help Ukraine would further degrade Putin's war machine, make it harder for him to march into our ally Poland and elsewhere, and could weaken Putin's hold on power in Russia. Now, compared to around 6% of our defense budget, that aid to Ukraine could be money well spent, and much of it going to our own military, including nearly $20 billion to replenish our own weapons stockpile after we donated older weapons to Ukraine. Nearly $14.8 billion to increase U.S. military presence in Eastern Europe and to train and share intel with Ukraine, plus nearly $13.8 billion would go to purchasing weapons for Ukraine from American defense contractors. And in degrading Putin's invasion force, we might also reduce the threat of genocide that may well have been well underway before the prior U.S. aid helped drive the invaders into a partial retreat.
It's a deliberate campaign to kill, to torture, to rape, to commit atrocities.
Remember the blitz of rape and torture and summary executions. Remember how Putin's invaders blew up hospitals that could treat the sick. And like Stalin, who mass murdered millions of Ukrainians through starvation, Putin cut off their access to food, clean water, and medicine for weeks. Consider what could have happened without the prior aid that fueled the resistance and the warning again from Reagan.
But if history teaches anything, it teaches that simple-minded appeasement or wishful thinking about our adversaries is folly. It means the betrayal of our past, the squandering of our freedom.
It's a striking lesson from history, and it's missing from a big part of the debate right now in Washington, which brings us back to the president's challenge in the thick of money, power, and politics.